Hello, everybody. It's the Meister from Brews and Tunes. I'm here today with Sonny Lombardozzi from, you may know him from Incantation, but now he's got a new band put together called A Rise from Worms. So we're going to be chatting with Sonny. Really excited to be chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
So I guess, I mean, the question of the day is, you know, what is this new band? What can you tell us about this new band that you've formed?
Well, it's as of right now, it's just a project, you know what I mean? And there's been some small talk of moving it maybe to the next level, you know what I mean? But with everything going on with this COVID stuff, you know, everybody's just kind of, you know, hesitant to do anything, you know, because you can't do anything really, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just right after I got fired out of Incan, right around Christmas after the Morbid tour, you know, I was kind of like in a pissed off mood, you know. I was like, you know, I'm ready to write, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, so me and Tucker became pretty good friends, you know, on the Morbid Angel tour and stuff. And actually how we started got talking is their tour manager was like, hey, Morbid wants to talk to you on the tour bus, you know? And I was like, oh no, you know what I mean? I was like, are we in trouble or something? You know? So, you know, I went on the bus and, you know, the techs were sitting there and everything. And I'm like, hey bro, you know, we just wanted to ask you, man, is it okay we check out some of your amp settings tomorrow at the gig? You know, we just wanted to ask you, you know, some stuff. I was like, oh yeah, sure. You know, I was totally thinking it was something bad, you know?
Right, yeah.
But they're like, bro, you just got some amazing tone going live, and we just like to check out what you're running, you know. We just didn't want to be rude and go up and start, you know, checking out all your stuff. I said, no, that's cool. And then Tucker was sitting there, and I was kind of, hey, you know, I want to put some tunes around, you know, or something. And he was like, well, if you need someone to do vocals, bro, here's my number, give me a call. So then right after the Morbid tour, you know, we went home and, you know, got the bullshit news is what I call it. Just went right in the studio and started recording and recording and recording and recording. And, you know, trying to get the click tracks down, get the songs down. You know, it took a while because I went away from the tuning, how Incantation was, and I went back to standard 7-string 440 tuning, you know, so I tuned back up compared to the low stuff that they were doing forever.
Right.
And then actually Charlie, that was the fill-in drummer for Incantation, he was supposed to do drums originally.
Okay.
So we got all the tracks done, sent it all over to him. I says, okay, let me know you're into it. Yeah, I'm into it. You know, a month went by. I was like, hey, you into it, bro? Yeah. You know, I'll get to it, bro. Don't worry. 2 months went by.
No.
Then Steve calls me, bro, what's going on? I'm waiting. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm waiting on you know, Charlie, man, blah, blah. And I says, well, I'll give him another, you know, few weeks or something. So then June 1st came, and then I didn't hear nothing from Charlie anymore. And then, you know, Tucker was just like, bro, send Flo a message from Cryptopsy. He delivers, you know? So I was just like, okay. So I sent him a message, you know, hey, you know, Flo, check it out. He goes, send me all the tracks. So I was just like, cool. So we sent him all the tracks. And then I didn't hear from him for a week. I was like, oh no, maybe he thought they sucked, or you know what I mean, or whatever. And then, so I got a hold of him again, and he goes, I go, oh, did you like the tunes or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I already booked studio time. I go, oh. So then the following week, I said, hey, how's it going? He goes, drums are done, brother. And he started sending the drums over, and we're like, holy shit, man, that was, you know, quick, you know. And I knew Tucker wanted to work with Flo from the beginning, you know. And we got the results back, and I was just totally just happy, you know. Everything was just completely done. I didn't have to worry about, you know, stressing out over this or that. Everything was there.
Cool.
And then, so we end up sending the tracks over to Steve. And then he was getting his studio set up, and then he started rehearsing, and you know, he called me. He goes, you know, brother, man. He goes, I want to tell you, these songs are tough. Nothing's in 4/4. You know, and he goes, this is a very unique style that you have here. He goes, I think you have something. And I'm like, oh, for real, you know. And because everything in Incan, it just it either got erased or shut down, or it was too much, or it was too many notes, or or one phone calls from the bass player. I can't play this. I'm gonna have to play something else. It's just kind of like Jesus Christ. I mean,
Right.
I'm trying to play some friggin' metal here. But Steve delivered. He started sending his tracks, and I was like, oh my God, this is way better than I ever thought. And even Steve was like, he was like, brother, man. He goes, I think some of this is my best vocal stuff that I've done in a long, long time.
Cool.
And
now,
then,
keep playing bass as well?
No, I was trying to track down Alex from Cannibal.
Oh.
I'm trying to think who could play this kind of music, this style here. And just a lot of dead ends and everything, and people were saying he might be too busy. So I just ended up playing bass.
Okay.
And I knew how I wanted the bass to sound. And it's funny because Flo sent me a message and he goes, hey, I don't know what to do on this part. And I go, what is it? And it was just a solo, it was like, He goes, oh, what's the rhythm guitar and bass guitar do there? And I go, oh, no, there is no rhythm or guitar there. I says, the bass is doing that lead too. So he goes, for real? And I go, yeah, and so I started laying that down, and it's very unique sounding. I don't think I've heard anything as far as bass and guitar shred and bass shred together like this with massive extended solos,
Cool.
I haven't heard anything yet like it, and especially touring all over the place with Incan for the past 8 years, but just playing the bass like that, man, that took me 2 months to get the speed up. I mean, it was just, the range is just so much, I'm just like, oh my God, so I had to learn how to play this stuff on bass like that, and then I'm used to doing these arpeggio sweeps, and I'd run out of strings on the bass, you know what I mean? So I'd have to figure it out how to do it. So, but we got that. Then we sent the tracks to Dallas, and Dallas did some vocals and some guitar work, and then got that all done. And then my friend Andrew that I work with, he did some keyboards, layering, so kind of some background behemoth type stuff, not too much. Didn't go over the board with it, but just little backgrounds here and there, you know what I mean?
Just kind of atmosphere, basically.
Yeah, just a little bit. I didn't want to get too crazy, you know what I mean, with it. And then actually just last week, all the tracks went up to Chris, which is Cryptopsy's guitar player at I think it's called the Grid. I call it the Cryptopsy studio, but it's called the Grid. And they're getting ready to mix it. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was a long haul, man. It's definitely a long haul.
That's exciting though. How many tracks are on the
Oh, it's 3 full band tracks, and then the 4th song is a classical guitar piece that I'm redoing from I'm not sure if you're familiar with the movie Crossroads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where Karate Kid beats Steve Vai at the end, he did that big classical thing. Yeah, so I'm redoing that, and it started coming out really, at first I was like, I don't know, and then we started recording it, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, and I think it'll fit pretty good, because the rest of the songs have that type of guitar playing in them, so, but we just want to put out an EP and see how it flies, you know what I mean? And everybody was like, whoa, this came out way better than I thought. Let's get some more songs rocking. And I said, well, let's get this mixed and out first before I work on any more music, so.
That's exciting though. That's exciting. Do you have a release date yet, or is it too early?
No. As soon as we get the songs back, I got to get with management, because I still talk with the world management that works with Incan and Morbid and all those guys. So as soon as the songs are done, let's check it out. Let's have a meeting. Because I just posted this little phone clip of, I think it was Dallas singing in the studio, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, I mean, my messenger and stuff just started blowing up, you know what I mean? They're like, bro, what is that? I was like, oh, it's just a phone recording in the studio, I just got excited and hit record on my phone. And next thing you know, labels just started saying, dude, send us the track, send us the tracks as soon as stuff's done. So, I mean, you know, they're waiting. So, but we'll definitely see what Alex from, you know, management, what direction we want to go, you know what I mean? And make sure we got the right label for what we're doing, type thing, you know. But I know, I mean, you know, Relapse was like, all right, bro, you're on your own now. Let's see what you got. You know what I mean? Send us as soon as you get time, you know, the song, send them to us. Let's check it out. What's going on? And then same thing with Nuclear Blast and even the older Incan label, Listenable. There's another one too. I can't think of it. They sent me a message just yesterday. They were interested.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm kind of excited. You know, I says even if like somebody Nuclear Blast or Relapse says, you know, this is too much, too crazy or whatever, and say a smaller label wants to pick it up and put it out, I mean, I'd be happy. You know what I mean? If I could just pick up an album and go, hey, nothing got erased on here, you know what I mean? And there's some riffs finally that I wrote.
Right.
I'll be a happy camper, you know what I mean? So
that's exciting. That's very exciting.
But hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. I was trying to explain all
No, this is great. This is great. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, well, you sent me when we chatted online, you sent me the logo for the band. Is that going to be the artwork for the album or for the EP, or do you have artwork ready? Or
I wanted to just do what I call the Van Halen one effect, just the logo on the album.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To just put that on the front of the album, kind of like the Black Album, just with that logo on it. Just for a budget reason, you know what I mean? But I don't know what type of budget I'm looking at yet. You know what I mean? So if the label says, hey, we got this type of budget for you, you know, but right now I'd rather spend, I mean, some of these artists, you know, I mean, nothing against the artists, they got to make a living too, but I mean, some of these artists are $1,000 to $2,000.
Right.
You know, and it's amazing artwork, you know, and it's probably worth every penny. But right now, this being a fresh project, I'd rather take $1,000 and put it into getting more recordings. You know what I mean? If you know, because obviously studio and people's time, it gets expensive. You know, I mean, definitely. You know, so that was my outlook on it. Kind of save money.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if the EP takes off and it does really good, okay, next time we'll if we have a budget, we'll be able to afford artwork. You know, so if that makes sense, you know what I mean? But, you know, especially right now, I mean, times are just so tough, you know, for people, you know, it's just crazy. Right. So
yeah. That's why, we need more metal. Keep us going.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, I mean, just the response from a damn phone clip, man, was just, I was blown away.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, there's I don't even remember which page it's on. It's a Facebook page. It's a group, just a metal group, and somebody on that page, either you sent it to them or they saw it somewhere, but they posted one of those phone clips, and people went crazy. They're like, who is this? What is this? What is this band? What is this? Yeah, everybody's really excited. It was cool, you know. And I didn't say anything because I knew what it was, but like, well, be quiet.
Yeah, I think I put it in my stories, and then somebody sent me a message, go, hey, can I share this? And I was like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. You know what I mean? And I was just excited to hear vocals finally, you know what I mean? And just guitar click tracks for half a year, you know?
Yeah, and what I heard sounds fantastic. It sounds really killer. I can't wait to get my hands on the actual EP when that comes out. I'm excited.
Yeah, when it's mixed, I'm just excited to hear it completely mixed together, you know what I mean? And hear it, you know. But I mean, Steve just, man, it just was so powerful, you know. And I remember he was doing sound check for Morbid Angel, and he was doing a sound check, and he just shook the whole building with his voice, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, I gotta do a song with this dude. I mean, it was just like, I was like, holy shit, you know. It sounded like a kick from one off or something, you know. And it's just I had to work with him, and then I always thought Dallas's guitar picking was just was a you know the machine gun picking that I like, and then it just went from there. And then we actually had Mark from Portland. He filled in for Incantation when he went to Hawaii.
Okay.
And he did a couple, I think like half the set. And I stayed in contact with him, and we had him do some background and layering vocals with Dallas.
Okay.
And oh my God, it just came out perfect. You know, it's like the one song that's like Steve takes off, then Dallas comes in, and then it's Dallas and you know, Mark doing this ending part. And I was just like, that's it. I said, don't even touch the faders. You know, you just know when you pull up the faders and go, you know, and I think I said one edit, like, oh, maybe that little thing there, we just cut that out, you know, because it kind of overlapped. They weren't together, you know. And
Okay.
if anything else, I go, no, that's it. We're done. You know, so that was cool. It was definitely cool to work with all them guys, you know. So
Right. Now, did you, obviously you wrote the music, did you write the lyrics as well, or did Steve write the lyrics?
here's a funny thing on that is my engineer, Andrew, he wrote lyrics for one song, which Dallas sang and Mark. And then Tucker sang the beginning. He kind of changed the lyrics just a little bit for phrasing for his voice. And then the other two songs, it was actually Chuck from Incan had two songs that they didn't use for the new album that they put out. And I sent him, you know, because Tucker was just, you know, busy doing his stuff. He was like, bro, I need some lyrics to get rocking, you know. So I sent him a message. I go, hey, since I loaded the freaking trailer all the time while you're off being a rock star, I said, send me some freaking lyrics. So he sent them over, you know, and then I think Steve kind of rewrote a lot of that to fit his voice a little bit more.
Okay.
So I would say it's Tucker and Chuck, you know, with those two songs. So,
Okay.
but I mean, reading some of the lyrics, it's basically you can see the style from Chuck's, you know, writing capability. You know what I mean? Because
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I think he just sits in his room and just reads medieval stuff all friggin' day. You know what I mean? I don't think he leaves, you know, type thing. But yeah, so that's the lyric part of it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Cool.
Because I just started writing lyrics, you know, and when I was still in the band with Incan, I called Chuck and I says, hey, I got some lyric ideas. You know, maybe you can help me evolve them. You know what I mean? Because I was very new. You know, all I cared about was guitar playing. I never really got into lyrics. And I had some ideas and, you know, I was presenting it to him and stuff like that. And then, cool. And that's all I got. That's as far as that went, you know. And then I even said, hey, you know, send me your ideas for the artwork for the last Incan album. So he started sending me all these ideas. And I totally know that era that Chuck is into, you know what I mean? And so I was just like, hey, I got some ideas too for that, you know? Oh, cool. And that's as far as that went. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? And then, so that was that part of the, you know, thing there. But I was still too new at it to write lyrics for these songs, you know what I mean? And then especially after recording the bass like this, I was just like, you know what? I need a break, man, you know? And I told everybody in the project, like, you know, Flo was like, what do you want? And I told him, I go, dude, do what you want to do, brother. Just do what you want to do. I didn't delete or edit anything Flo did. Nice. You know, Tucker called me, what do you want, brother? I says, brother, do what you feel. I want you to do what you want to do. Same thing with Dallas. Just do what you do. Be you. I didn't edit or cut anything that these guys did. I didn't want to do any of that. And that's, you know, from Incantation album, you know, it was like so much shit got fucking cut that pissed me off.
Right.
And things that didn't make it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I told everybody, be you and make it you. And just because, you know, say Tucker did something and I go, and maybe, you know, I'm not saying that I did, but maybe I go, I don't know about that part. Just because I say, oh, I don't know about that part, doesn't mean 500 other people go, that's badass.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, and I said, if you guys feel strongly about it, record it, and it's going on the EP. You know, and if you feel that strongly about it, let's put it on there and see what happens. You know, and that's what makes a cool project. Yeah. You know, instead of me going, oh no, more of this, and oh no, this, and we're gonna cut that and paste that, and I didn't want to do any of that. You know what I mean? I just wanted everybody to do their thing, BU, and man, it came out way better than I ever dreamed.
Nice.
You know, like I said, even if it doesn't go anywhere, I'd still say, man, I played with some of the best death metal musicians got to record ever, for me personally.
Yeah, I love Steve Tucker's amazing. That guy.
Oh yeah. I never thought I'd be recording songs with Flo. You know what I mean? I bought his drum DVD just because I was a fan. I used to just watch drum DVD, and I'm not even a drummer. You know, so but yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool. So.
And it sounds like it was, I mean, obviously you wrote the music, but it sounds like it was a very collaborative process, that's exciting. That's cool. You know,
yeah.
Said, everybody's, you know, putting in their own personality into the songs, and that's exciting.
Oh yeah.
I'm really excited to hear this. I think this is going to be killer. So
yeah, definitely. You know, Tucker would call me, and he'd be like, Tucker would call me and be like, bro, this shit's crazy. He goes, you're making me work, man. But man, did that dude deliver, man. It's just so powerful. And, you know, like I said, the third song, when all three singers sang on it, man, I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for. I just smiled. As soon as we pulled up the faders in the studio, I just smiled. I was like, that's it, man. I just hear one little part, and it's just a glitch. It was just like somebody bumped the mic or something, and we just had to take it out because you hear this thump, you know what I mean? So we had to take that out. But that was it. I was like, done deal. Send it off. Nice. The Cryptopsy, and start mixing. You know what I mean? So everybody's excited to hear it mixed.
Yeah.
You know, but something new. It's fresh. You know, it's definitely different. You know, than your normal death metal, I guess, you know. But
exciting.
So yeah.
That's really exciting. I'm really excited to hear this. I can't wait.
Cool.
Hopefully somebody picks it up very quickly and gets it to print fast. Now, are you gonna put it out as a CD, vinyl, downloadable? I mean, what do you have a plan at this point? I guess kind of once you start talking to the record company and.
Yeah, once I talk to whoever's we're gonna work with, basically what they feel is best, you know, because I was always in the dark on that side of things, you know what I mean? I wasn't really sure, you know, how many albums you print, how many CDs you print, you know. Now this new download thing, you know. I mean, dude, I'm so old school, it's ridiculous, you know what I mean? If I don't see the tubes going in the amplifier, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't, you know, I'm that type of guy, you know. But yeah, whatever they want to, they feel is best. If we can all, you know, that's why I want to talk to management and make sure, okay, this is the best deal that we can do, and this is what everybody can work and be happy, and just no stress. Yeah. You know what I mean? Say if hey, we feel we need to do this, okay, let's try it. I'm down to try anything. You know, oh, that didn't work. Okay, we'll try this. Okay. You know, so I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, what do you mean this and that? You know, I'm not gonna sit there and do that. You know, like I said, if it flopped, you know, like 2 copies sold or something, you know, but as long as I can pick it up and go, I did this, man. I did this. You know, that's what I want. I did this. And with Incantation, I didn't have that because it was either too much or the shit was deleted, or I'd go back and hear the riff and it'd be changed. You know, it was just, I just didn't want that, you know, type thing with this recording. You know, I smiled the whole time I recorded this. You know, I mean, I knew I could go in and do 10 arpeggios right in a row, and absolutely knew that they're going to stay and be recorded. You know what I mean? And not somebody go over my shoulder. Yeah, I didn't want that over my shoulder thing anymore.
Right.
You know.
Nice. Well, let's go back in time a little bit. So how did you get started in music? What was the kind of impetus there? What, did you grow up in a musical family, or, you know, how did you get started?
I grew up in a serious biker family. Yeah. But I mean, there was always music. I mean, there was always, you know, my parents would be blasting Jimi Hendrix.
Cool.
I remember my mom came home, man, I was probably 4 or 5. My mom came home with an Alice Cooper record, you know, Love It to Death by Alice Cooper. I used to play that every day. And and then my brother brought home, I think it was Van Halen 1 or 2. I can't remember which album it was. And I heard that, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, you know what I mean? And then, because I never heard the tapping or the dive bomb stuff, you know, I was like, this is crazy, you know? But I didn't really start rock until I was 10 years old, and that movie Crossroads came out.
Okay.
And I seen that ending with Steve Vai and Macchio, you know, with their battling back and forth, and I said, holy shit, this is what I got to do. And that was the start of it. You know, I went to classical guitar school, I went to jazz school, anything for information, anything on music, man. I just was just sucking it up, no matter what it was, you know. And it started paying off too, because, you know, it's just like, you know, when you first start, people are like, oh, you're taking jazz guitar? That's kind of poser, you know, be metal, man. And I was like, no, I'm metal, man. What are you talking about? And then when I read Chris Poland from Megadeth was a jazz musician.
Yeah.
And he laid all those phenomenal leads down. I go, listen to that. That's all jazz, you know. And everybody's like, how's he getting that out sound? And I says, it's jazz, you know, and he's putting it into metal. And, you know, what's so funny is a couple guitar players sent me a message about the new album, Incan album, and they go, bro, how are you getting that out sound? And I says, every solo that I did on that album that made it, it's all jazz scales.
Oh, really? Wow.
Every single scale is a jazz scale. It was jazz scales, you know. And I knew Richie Blackmore was using these scales, you know. And I was just like, well, man, Blackmore's using them. I got to try and use them, you know what I mean? And so I started incorporating those scales and with that new album. And that's what's giving it that little bit of out sound a little bit, you know.
Right, cool.
But then the normal, what they're used to, hey, play a fifth harmony there. You know, and I'd be like, hell, that was try a seventh or a sixth, man. You know what I mean? And give it really crazy stuff. You know, so that's what I started doing. So that's how those sounds started coming out like that. But yeah, I was a fanatic on information, man. Anything, you know. But yeah, it just started my long journey, and then you know, how many years later, I rehooked up with Incan to finish. I think it was Dirge's album. I did 2 songs on that, and then they asked me to fill in for a tour, and then 8 years later, it just you know, it's constant touring, you know. I don't think I was ever home. Yeah. So, I mean, all my stuff and all that stuff, it just totally got put on the back burner because they were doing so much touring, so much recording. Dude, when I get home off a tour, the last thing I want to do is touch a guitar. You know, you just want to chill and have watch a movie or something.
All right.
But yeah, so that was as far as education-wise. Yeah, I did a lot of musical training and stuff. I went to schools, you know. So
nice. I mean, you mentioned several guitar players. Who have been the most influential for you as a musician?
As a younger kid, definitely Steve Vai. I mean, Mike Badio, that whole Shrapnel Records, all those guitar shredders back in the 80s, you know, and everybody. I mean, if you look at my CD collection, there's hardly any singing. You know, it's just all, you know, Marty Friedman, just crazy, crazy stuff. You know, I just took what they did and just ran with it, you know what I mean? Because right when I was, you know, a young teenager, you know, the first Deicide was coming out, the first Obituary was just coming out. So I was going from that era of music. I kind of skipped over the thrash age and went right to death metal, you know what I mean? So, and then I was trying to put my style into death metal, and just started panning out really, really good for me, actually. You know, I didn't realize when I was touring with Incan how much of a following I was making. You know, I didn't realize that because so many people are going, hey, are you classically guitar trained? Or, you know, because you play real high up, you know, and you know, some of the stuff you do is very, you know, not your traditional death metal, and, you know, explain to me, yeah, I went to music school and all that stuff, you know. So, but all those early guitar, but definitely Steve Vai, Badio, Paul Gilbert, the Racer X days, you know, I didn't when he joined Mr. Big, I was like, ugh, I was like, what happened? You know, but definitely those guys. And then I just took that and ran with it,
Cool.
you know,
Very cool.
as much as I could. So, but I used to hear singers and stuff like that for bands. I'm like, oh, God, someone started singing. Where's the guitar?
How did you originally hook up with the Incantation guys? When did
I first started playing with them back in 2002, early 2003. They found I was playing in my own band, and they found me at a gas station. They were having an underground show at some gas station, and it was like 4 people showed up, and I think John was there.
Oh wow.
And he talked to me. I don't even know why he stopped in, but it was like 4 people there. He was there, and he goes, "Hey, we need a guitar player. Let's come play with us." So I went with them. I toured with them pretty heavily till like late 2004, and then got out of the band. I don't even know what happened there. Got out of the band there, and then I went off to become a music school teacher.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I went to pursue music education and all that stuff. So I didn't talk to them for, oh man, years, probably 10, 11 years, you know, something like that. And then Joey Lombard, he passed away, and me and Joe were really close on tour. You know, we were kind of like buddies. So they contacted me, said he passed away. So I went to the funeral. And then, of course, you don't see anybody for a while. Hey, how you doing? And, you know, stepped in contact. And then I think the following year, maybe a year or two, they were having problems with, I think, Alex in the band at that time. I don't know his last name. So they asked me if I could do a couple songs, and they were faster songs, you know. So I said, okay, you know. So I did, I think it was Impalement of Divinity, I think, and a song called Debauchery on that album. You know, I did all the guitar work. And I remember because John called me back and he goes, yeah, we got a problem. I'm like, oh no, the track's all fucked up. You know what I mean? What's wrong? You know, I was panicking. Well, oh my God, what's wrong? You know, I worked so hard on it. He goes, it's too perfect. Have a couple beers and chill out a little bit. And I was like, what? I never had a phone call where somebody said that the song was too perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, so that was the start of it. And then, yeah, we ended up touring for that album. And then we did, what was it, Dirges? God, I can't even remember now. Profane Nexus was after that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then we did that. That album, toured for all that. And then a 25-year anniversary. I think I did, it's so funny, I did 2 songs on every album almost. Like all the guitar. It was for, John would do the slow stuff and I would record all the fast stuff.
Okay.
You know, so that's how we did that. We kind of, you know, okay, he wanted his feeling of the slow doom stuff. So he would do that, and then tighten it up a little bit. I would do the faster stuff. And then, so yeah, we did Profane, and then that 25-year, and then this new record, which took about 2 years to get it done or whatever, you know, so. But hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I was kind of curious how you got into with them originally. Yeah, and I saw you had mentioned, you know, much earlier in the interview, you mentioned the tour with Morbid Angel and Watain, and I saw that tour, and man, you just shred. You are a shredder. It's so fun to watch you play.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I felt I played really good on that tour because the past year and a half, I started getting these weird pains in my hands that were so painful. You know, it was like going to chiropractors and all this stuff. I mean, there was just some shows we were playing, my hands would just fall, you know. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? You know, do I have a hand injury or what? You know, what's going on? They're talking about injecting needles into my hands, you know. And I was like, oh, ain't nobody sticking no needle in my friggin' hand, you know. So I was panicking about that. And it was really, really painful, you know. So it was like that past year was just so tough, you know what I mean, as far as playing. And I would tell them, I had to tell them, I was just like, you know, because the doctor's like, bro, you're getting older, man. You need to take a break, you know, because we did 6-week tour. Then we went right to Australia. Then we went right to Mexico. And then we went over to Europe for another tour. And then we went right to Morbid Angel, you know what I mean? So it was like no rest. But I ended up joining some Tai Chi classes.
Oh, cool.
Started working with my hands, you know, for a couple months. So the time we went to that Morbid tour, man, all those doctors and everything, they're full of shit, man. You know, when I go, somebody does Tai Chi and all of a sudden my hands feel like they're 14 years old again, you know what I mean? But
That's good.
yeah, it was crazy. Just doing all these, they had me doing all these exercises. I could feel just like the blood just flowing through there, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, you know, and here doctors want to put you on medication and, you know, stick needles in your hands. I was just like, holy shit, you know, forget this. But anyways, but the set was shorter. You know what I mean? We weren't playing long because my hands were good for the first half hour, but after the half hour, it was like, I mean, I remember looking at Luke, the bass player at the time, just like, oh my God, dude, I'm in so much pain, man. This ain't even, you know, I'd have tears in my eyes on friggin' stage. It was just so painful. You know, the picks were just, I'd have to have like 50 picks on the amp because the picks are just constantly falling out of my hands. But then one time we did that Morbid tour, the pain was gone. And I felt I played really well, you know, and then Tucker used to come out and watch me play almost every night. He's like, bro, I just love watching you fucking play, man. He goes, it's just, you add so much to this fucking band, man. It just, wow, I just love it. You know, it's just phenomenal sounding, you know. And then
that's funny you mentioned that. The show I saw was in Salt Lake at the Complex, and I was in the photo pit. So, you know, they allow us in there for 3 songs and then you have to get out. So I got out of the photo pit and I was standing over by the kind of the archway, and
right.
I felt this presence next to me, and I turned, and yeah, Steve Tucker was standing next to me watching you play.
Yeah. He'd watch me almost every night, man. He was just really into my playing, and you know, he'd tell me almost, you know, bro, you got something, brother. You know how he talks, you know, you got something, man, you got something. And I'm like, oh, thanks, bro, you know. You know, and it was just it was funny. You know, I would always get off stage and I'd hurry up, say, hey, I gotta load the trailer, man. We load the trailer. And I remember him walking by one time, just, brother, why the fuck are you loading a trailer, man? You should be in there hanging out with people. You know, and then my friend Bill from California, he said the same thing. You know, I'm out there in the rain trying to, you know, throw all this gear in the thing, and he walks by, he goes, why the fuck are you loading this trailer by yourself, man? He goes, everybody else in there toasting beers, taking pictures, man. I go, oh, I don't know. So he, you know, Bill ends up helping me load the trailer too, you know. You know, but yeah, it was funny, you know. But that, you know, ever since Bill said that and Steve said that to me, I was just like, you know, what the fuck is going on here? You know, I'm loading our gear, I'm loading Wattain's gear, I'm loading the merch. You know, I'm like, holy shit, you know, and everybody else is having a good time, you know. I mean, you know, some of the other guys, Luke and Charlie, they'd help me and stuff like that. I'd always be like, oh, go have fun, man. You know, you don't have to stay in here, load this shit, you know, because I knew they didn't want to, you know.
Right.
But it just dawned on me, you know, something's wrong with this picture here. You know, but yeah, it was cool.
Well, that's too bad, but yeah, like, yeah, at least now you've got a new direction and some cool stuff coming out.
Yeah, and it's exactly where I want to be musically, so I'm happy. You know what I mean? I mean, I could go into the studio and lay these riffs down and go, and this is a lot of fucking hard work, but yeah, it's cool. Yeah. You know, it's making it. Oh, cool. I hear the drums. Cool. The bass is done. The vocals are done. Like, fuck, finally something that I wrote that's complete.
Right.
Yeah, instead of do a little solo here, or can you do a harmony here, blah, blah, and that's all it was, you know, little here, little here, little here, and it was just like, okay, you know, let's do this, you know. I always used to tease them, like, sometimes it's too much, this is too much, too many notes, too many this, too much that, and I was like, I used to joke about it. I'm like, man, you guys are kind of like the United States, man. Fucking all this firepower and all, and afraid to use it. You know what I mean? I always used to say that all the time. You got all this fucking firepower,
Right.
and you're afraid to use it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, but yeah, I always used to joke around about that. But yeah, anyway, so
Now you had mentioned earlier when we were talking. So you've been very, obviously really focused on getting this EP completed. Do you have, but based on, I mean, even just the phone, the little clip that that's out there now, and the kind of reactions people are giving you, has it got kind of the wheels turning as far as new ideas to?
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. Especially when Flo and Steve were like, he was like, let's get some more material rocking, and a couple of people are like, all right, bro, let's get the EP out. Once it's to the people that want to work with you, then start working on new stuff.
Okay.
He's like, don't start working on new stuff now, and then Chris from Cryptopsy starts sending mixes. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep my brain just on mix right now mode, so I can make sure, okay, this sounds good, and type thing. But oh yeah, I mean, I get an idea, dude. I'll pull up my tab book, I'll write it down. You know what I mean? There's piles of stuff. I just gotta go through it and put it together. But yeah, tons. Trust me, the wheels are, turning. I did this arpeggio thing on the song. I think it's at the end of that little clip there. The keyboard's kind of like, I was like, well, I'll do some classical arpeggios to that, and I did it, and I was like, oh my God, that came out so fucking killer, it came out beautiful. I never ever would have been able to do that with them guys. And Chris, you just mentioned the word arpeggio, and everybody, goes, oh, like this. But yeah, to answer your question, it's a lot of material going, so, I plan on working with Flo, a lot more. He just delivered. I know Frank that filled in with Incantation, he wants to do some material as well, and then a couple other drummers too, are hitting me up about doing some stuff, but I'll probably continue just to work with Flo because it's done. You know what I mean? Here's the tracks, boom, it's done next week, and I like that. Not 3 months later and I'm still going. Relapse sends me a message and goes, hey, Sonny, bro, got any songs yet? And I go, oh, we haven't even started tracking drums yet. Right. And it's been, January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months later after I was out of the band, we're still waiting on drum tracks,
Wow.
So it's just like, flows fast, he delivered, he plays good, and I don't have to worry about a goddamn thing, I'd have to sit there and go, oh, you're playing too quick, or you're playing this, or that don't sound right, because he just knows. He's a professional. Yeah, right. Type thing. He goes, so what do you want? He goes, well, I don't know, for the scale thing. I go, oh, do that all on the hi-hat. And he did, and it just came out phenomenal, so that's just, it worked out great.
Nice.
Definitely great.
You might not be able to answer this, with future state, especially right now with COVID, who knows what things are going to look like in the future. But do you foresee the possibility of any sort of live shows with this band?
It has gotten brought up.
Okay.
I talked to Flo a little bit about it, and he says, obviously their projects come first, and I understand that. He's got Cryptopsy, he's got a bunch of stuff. He's like, but there are, he says, possibilities to do some stuff, and I know Tucker is a very busy guy, but maybe hint about it somewhere in the future of doing it. Right now nobody can do anything. Yeah. But it's funny though, because we are getting offered shows.
Really? Wow.
Festival. Yeah, it's just that phone clip. You know what I mean? It was like, I got a message from 70,000 Tons of Metal. They go, hey, when this shit clears up, are you interested in maybe playing? Cool. And so I was like, wow. So I told Tucker and Flo about it, and they says, yeah, if the possibility comes up that we can play it, you know, maybe. But obviously, you know, ain't going to be nothing. I don't think there's going to be any touring or anything till like 2023, honestly. I think this is really going to be stuck. You know, I see bands booking for 21, you know, 2021. I was like, I see a lot of cancellations again, you know.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Especially with the spiking we're seeing right now. I don't foresee that.
We got 5. Yeah, where I'm at, there's like 100 cases almost a day.
Yeah.
You know, they shut down the whole Pennsylvania border. If I go over to Ohio or West Virginia or New Jersey, anything that's touching where I live, you're supposed to quarantine yourself for 14 days. Who the hell's going to do that? Just crossing the border.
Right.
You know, but yeah, it's just it's crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, we have been offered some festivals and some shows and stuff when this stuff clears up, you know. And right now, dude, I'll be with it. I did so much touring with NCAN. That's the last thing on my mind right now.
Right.
Is if we could do a festival here and there, I'd be happy. I'd literally be happy, you know. But as far as getting in a little white van and spending 5 weeks on the road in Europe again, I don't, you know, with my knees and my chest and 8 other guys, you know what I mean? I just can't. I'm too old. I can't hang like that. I mean, some of those younger guys, they used to have to pick me up and pull me out of the friggin' van. You know, my back would be locked up. It was just
right.
But you know, if we could get on a good package or something like that, yeah, it'd be cool. You know, if it's comfortable and everybody's can agree on everything and everybody can do it, you know, stuff like that. But as far as those long, you know, 6-week, those were miserable, man. Yeah, it was rough. It was brutal. It was so rough, man, you know. But the bigger tours were fun because you had a bus, you had a bunk, you could go rest, right. You know. I mean, some of these tours, man, I'd play the show, and then me and Luke or whatever, man, we drive all night long for 7 hours. You know what I mean? So we couldn't drive anymore, and then pull off, and the next, you know, whoever would take over driving till we get to the venue. I remember being on stage one time in Boston. I was so tired. I'm just standing there like, please let this be over soon so I can get some sleep. My body's getting sick. And you shouldn't be like that as an artist, you know, as a performer. I shouldn't be on stage going, oh, please, God, hurry up. I don't feel good, man. Oh, I'm so tired. And you're trying to get into it and you're making mistakes. And, you know, it was just, you know, you need to go on the road, perform. You need to rest and perform good because people are paying good money, you know, to see you. And they want to see a good show. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, man, they friggin' suck so bad, blah, blah. But one thing, you don't know how long they've been on the road. You don't know if somebody's not feeling well. You don't know if there's some issues at home. You know what I mean? You're just seeing, wow, they sucked. You know, not a lot of people think of that. You know what I mean? But
right.
So,
speaking of touring, are there any you know, favorite shows, favorite tours, favorite, you know, festivals that you've done? Anything
I'd say Hellfest was probably one of the big ones that I remember. I mean, that was just people as far as you can see, and it was like this. Oh, we're done. You know what I mean? It felt like we just got up there, and the smoke machine went off, and the next thing you know, I'm packing my guitar up. You know what I mean? It went by so quick. But Hellfest was a really good one. We toured with Bolt Thrower. That was a really good run. That was short. And I remember I was, you know, thinking of Bolt Throwers. I got to sound check early, and I'm up there doing my thing, and I don't know where the rest of the guys were at the time, but all the guys from Bolt Thrower were standing on the side, you know, and I stopped playing, and the one guy from Bolt Thrower, he comes up to me, he goes, hey, mate. And I go, yeah. He goes, are you at the wrong bloody gig? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, man, you're just smoking off friggin' guitar, you know? And it was funny, man. Those guys were so cool, you know, so cool. They yell all the time, you know, more, more shred all the time, you know. But it's funny, almost every bigger band we toured with, they all said the same thing, you know, like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? You should be doing something like this, you know. I mean, Bolt Thrower said it to me. Marduk, the guitar player Marduk, he goes, holy fuck, man, your guitar playing is just phenomenal, brother. You ever mess up? And I go, oh, of course I mess up. I'm just human, you know. Same thing, Watain guys, you know. I mean, Morbid, I mean, all those guys are just like, wow, you got something here, you know. And then that's when I started thinking, I was like, oh, I want to get some of my own shit rocking, you know.
All right.
But yeah, the Morbid tour was a good tour for me. As far as fun, and I felt relaxed and like, yeah, I'm going to go play tonight, you know. Hellfest, Bolt Thrower, that was good. The Marduk tours were good shows. I'm trying to think who else. God, there's so many. I mean, it was 8 years nonstop.
Yeah.
You know. You know, I mean, I could definitely tell you some bad tours. I mean, holy shit. You know, it's funny. I said this the other day. They're like, hey, I'm glad all those tours went good for you. I go, I says, bro, no one's going to get off tour and say, man, we had a bad tour on Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's going to say that. You know, of course, every tour is phenomenal. It was a great success. You know, nobody's going to get on there and say, man, that run was rough. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some rough ones where I'm just like, oh my God, kill me. You know what I mean? As far as rest, I remember sleeping in an airport for almost 2 days over in the Asia thing because we had to fly everywhere. It was too far apart. And we get off the stage and go right to the airport. And the flight was almost 2 days. I think we're in the airport for like almost 22 hours. It was the worst night. I mean, I slept right on the floor. I didn't even care anymore. The dirty ass floor. It was just, you know, I woke up, you know, drool out of my mouth, people standing all around me, you know. It was rough, man, you know. And once you get to the show, you try and forget about that part of it and have a good time. But yeah, I don't miss that type part of it anymore, you know, at all.
Well, I mean, you've toured the world. You know, any favorite countries? I mean, from what I understand, like South American audiences are just off the.
Oh yeah,
they're just wild.
That was all South America was really good for me. It's funny you say that because almost every single person I talk through from South America talks to me almost every day. They send me messages, and it's just huge. Thing there for me, you know what I mean? It just definitely went over really, really well there. I guess they really like the guitar shredding and stuff like that, you know.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like any footage I see of bands playing in South America, the fans are just fanatic. They're so it's kind of, I guess, kind of like what it was like in America in the 80s, you know, in the early 80s with metal, that kind of scene. And you know, later with death metal, but I mean, you know, more of the underground, smaller club thing. But yeah, you see these huge shows in South America.
Mm-hmm. You get those guys talking about guitars and amps, man. Oh my God, you're in for it. They're all about gear and guitars, man. That's their whole thing, you know. You could even talk 4 hours on guitar pickups with those guys. You know?
Wow.
I mean, love gear. Yeah, I call South America the gear heads of you know, of metal. You know,
that's actually a good segue from. I was going to ask you about what gear do you use? What do you use in the studio, and what do you use when you play live? If it's not the same.
I still use the Halo guitars because my signature guitar is supposed to be out like any day now.
Oh, great.
I use them. I still work with EMG. I still work with Kaler, Morley pedals, Tasami cables, man, tons of endorsement guys, you know, and I got pretty good relations with all those people. Cool. You know, I work with a company that I literally use their stuff, you know, to the max, and I can get them on the phone and bullshit for the day.
Right.
You know, hey, how you doing? You know, I mean, some of these, you know, like Jackson guitars, you call them, hey, it's Sonny from Incantation. Who? Yeah, you were at the show in LA, you know, he told me to give me a call. Oh, I don't remember, man, refresh, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I hated that, you know. But Yeah, just still using all that gear, same gear that I used on the Morbid tour. I still use all that stuff. I'm pretty loyal to the endorsement company. I've been with some of these companies for like 10 years almost. So I'm not an endorsee jumper.
Right.
I think a lot of musicians go, they endorse one guitar and it's a smaller company. Oh man, I got Jackson, and then they jump. You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, Jackson just give me a certain percentage off. They kind of ain't really doing anything. And I was like, well, dude, Jackson deals with how many hundreds of thousands of bands?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tough, to do that. I mean, they just can't focus on you and go, hey man, I'm gonna put you in the magazine. Cool. When they got people that are selling, 200,000 records that they're gonna put that guy in the magazine more than you just starting out.
Yeah.
But yeah, same gear: Halo, EMG, Kaler, Morley pedals, TC electronic pedals. Oh God, it goes on and on and on. But it's funny, as I started cutting down all my stuff, I just got to the point where I was just plugging in the amp anymore. I didn't want any more pedals in front of me, and I think the Morbid tour was my first time bringing a big pedal board out. You know what I mean? Because some songs had wall pedal in there, and one song had a little bit of delay, and I wanted to put that in there. You know what I mean? And, normally I don't use any effects at all, but that was a pain in the ass. I didn't like that, pulling out the board all the time, and setting it there. When someone spills a beer. I used to just have two pedals, a tube screamer and a noise gate, and that was it. You know what I mean? That's all I took with me anywhere, And I remember looking at one time in France, and this guy, he had a pitcher of beer, and I was like, oh, that's going to go right on my pedals. I look down, they're just shorting out, and they're just swimming. It was like, oh my God, it was terrible. And he's trying to clean it up with his own shirt, takes his shirt off, trying to clean it up. Don't worry about it. The amp didn't cut out, so I think we're okay.
Wow.
But yeah, that's all I ran for a long time, was just those two pedals for forever. People would just be like, how are you getting that sound? I was just like, I think it's in the fingers, buddy, because you're playing the same amp I am, but it just sounds different,
Right.
I had quite a few sound guys like that. They were like, we'd have the same heads, everything was the same, and he'd be like, oh, great tone, Sonny, great man, great. And then John would play, and he goes, Sonny, I had to go over fix that amp. And I go, I gave him the same settings. He goes, that's impossible, and I was like, it's just two different people. You know what I mean? Even though it's the same head, same EMG, same Kaler tremolos, obviously different guitars, but obviously different people. Of course, it's going to sound different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's all in the fingers. I think people get wrapped up too much and say, oh, I need this, and oh, I need that, and I'll play better, and I need to get the latest head. You know what I mean? And it just, it's Mike Badio one time, one of my heroes, said, a good guitar player can make any amp sound killer, no matter what it is. And that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Because one time we got stuck with some old Marshalls that barely would turn on, and we were supposed to have 5150s. We had these Marshalls, and I said, everybody they're upset about it. I go, as long as it turns on and plays, I don't care. So I plugged in and started playing it, and it sounded great, and everybody was like, man, you can make any amp sound good, And I says, I just had to pick harder, I could feel that something was, wrong, but I just had to hit it harder, But yeah, it can be tough on the road. You don't know what kind of amp you're getting.
Right. Yeah, especially, I guess if you're having to play amps that, not your own, and you're dealing with somebody else's stuff, that's always got to be, I would imagine can be challenging.
Oh, it's tough. That's the worst. Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. But you got to learn to dial it in. You know what I mean? And I mean, sometimes we get these Marshalls and have 1,000 knobs on it, and I'm like, what the hell do I turn? Turning knobs and hitting buttons till you get sound. But okay, I got sound, and then you don't have time to dial it in for the show. And then when you're not comfortable with the sound that you're working with, you start changing the way you play, the way you pick. And you're not getting the aggression out because you're going, oh my God, this doesn't sound good. You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah, it can be tough. Yeah, definitely tough.
Well, Sonny, I don't want to keep you all night, so I have one more question for you. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a beer guy, but so my blog is Brews and Tunes. So I pair craft beer with metal. So, you know, Sonny is kicking back on a Saturday night. What beer do you crack open and what album do you put on?
Oh, you're gonna laugh at me. Yeah, because I haven't drank in years, but I probably would have like a half of a Coors Light. And trust me, that half a Coors Light, I'd be lit, man. You know. But yeah, I just I tried some darker beer when I was overseas, you know, and it was just like, man, it would just kick my ass. I just couldn't hang with it, man. You know, I drank like half of it and be like, holy shit, you know. Yeah, it would be probably a Coors Light kickback, and who would I listen to? Probably some Steve Vai stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Steve Vai stuff. No singing. Or maybe some older Racer X, you know, but you know, or you know, actually, you know what I've been listening to lately is what the hell's I don't know what Behemoth album it is, but I've just been listening to that guy a lot lately. You know, just some of his guitar playing I like. You know, he does a lot of the octave thing that I find in my own style, and I think that's why I'm kind of connecting with Behemoth there a little bit. You know,
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, it kind of does a lot of that run stuff that I did a lot of. You know, but as far as heavier music, you know, but yeah, that's about it. So.
Nice.
I guess they would call the guys in Europe would say, oh, all the time, they're Sonny, you drink that pussy ass American beer. You know, and he's like, I gave I think it was Frank one time. I go, here, have a Coors Light. And he goes, this is fucking water.
Right.
You know, but yeah, so that'd be about it.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I don't judge people on their, you know, that's totally cool. Yeah, especially when you're kicking back, listening to some tunes. Doesn't matter what you got in your glass. So
yeah, I usually just chill with some water actually, and just because I'm always thinking of music in my head. You know what I mean? What can I get to the next level? What can I do to improve my playing? You know, and lately I've just been so into that, and I think it's because I got to hear a full song that I wrote finally. You know, and like, man, I want to go further now. And expand and keep going. So I'm pretty excited, you know, definitely.
Exciting.
You know?
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. This has been great. It's been great talking to you. So
yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I haven't done too many interviews, so I was kind of keeping it on the down. I didn't really want to do anything till the songs came out, so I could say, yeah, this is the song, you know. But so many people are just asking about it now, and it's just like, all right, start, you know, talking to some people a little bit, you know. So
good.
Thank you. Thank you.